Well, hello everybody. It's Dr. Drake 63 here again. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today I want to briefly visit the latest controversy surrounding bumpfire stocks and various folks' reaction to it and what they think this means about the NRA and future and so forth. First, I'm going to start by reading the actual statement that was released. This is from the NRA. And I quote, "In the aftermath of the evil and senseless attack in Las Vegas, the American people are looking for answers as to how future tragedies can be prevented. Unfortunately, the first response from some politicians has been to call for more gun control. Banning guns from law-abiding Americans based on the criminal act of a madman will do nothing to prevent future attacks. This is a fact and has been proven time and again in countries across the world. In Las Vegas, reports indicate that certain devices were used to modify firearms involved. Despite the fact that the Obama administration approved the sale of bumpfire stocks on at least 2 occasions," I'm going to repeat that line. Despite the fact that the Obama administration approved the sale of bumpfire stocks on at least 2 occasions, the National Rifle Association is calling on the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives to immediately review whether these devices comply with federal law. The NRA believes that devices designed to allow semi-automatic rifles to function like fully automatic rifles should be subject to additional regulations. In an increasingly dangerous world, the NRA remains focused on our mission, strengthening America's Second Amendment, freedom to defend themselves, their families, and their communities. To that end, on behalf of our 5 million members across the country, we urge Congress to pass a national right to carry reciprocity, which will allow law-abiding citizens to defend themselves and their families from acts of violence." Okay. So let's think about this for a minute. Here's kind of what I get out of this, and then I'll go ahead and acknowledge what apparently a lot of popular YouTube firearm channel dudes, which I'm not one of them, has to say about how they feel this violates the Second Amendment rights. First thing I notice out of all this, outside of, obviously acknowledging the tragedy, is they go out of their way to slam the Obama administration for allowing these things. So it's right like a back at you. Like, you think you guys know guns, guess what? Let's remind everybody right off the bat that this wasn't something that the NRA got behind and pushed. This was something that was a product that was run by the BATFE. Yeah, it was run by those guys. And they said, sure, go with it. So kind of pointing the finger a little bit, which is okay, because that's what is squarely pointed at us right now. Secondly, they clearly use this as a bargaining chip to say, in so many words, we don't give a damn about bumpfire stocks. What we care about is national carry reciprocity. Wish they would have gone on and mentioned the Hearing Protection Act as well, because opponents of Second Amendment sure did. Hillary Clinton sure did. And why the hell is anybody even sticking a microphone in her face anymore? I don't know. But as we go along through this, it basically says, hey, we remain focused on our mission. And that is promoting Second Amendment freedom, families, community. That's great. Surprised they didn't mention safety in that statement, because that's a huge part of what the NRA is about. And I don't really see that really mentioned here. But anyway, let's take a look at this. Here's what the NRA did not do. The NRA did not say, hey, we want to start talking about some other common sense things like high-capacity magazines and semi-automatic fire, black, scary assault rifles, even though they're not. But anyway, this is what I think the biggest fear among folks is that if you open up the discussion about anything, we're going to end up losing a lot more. you watch my channel, you see the kind of toys I play with, and you can tell that I'm a believer and that a guy ought to be able to play with whatever firearm that he wants to. But I am also a big believer in keeping firearms out of the hands of people that should not have firearms. And this would be people that have been deemed unstable. This would be people that would be deemed as dangerous due to prior felony convictions, things like that, people along those lines. Now, I know the counter arguments to all of this, man. I really do. And here's the reality of the world we live in, guys. If you think that this bumpfire stock thing is a big deal and you don't want to have Second Amendment rights taken away, you better look real hard at the pendulum that swings back and forth from left to right in this country. And we've had a Republican Congress now for quite a while, for going on 2 presidential terms. And during that time, they have actually done a good job of getting nothing done, which also means further legislation on Second Amendment types of things. But look what's happened at the state level during all that time. And I don't know what's to be done to stop that. I think you're going to see more of this and not less. If the NRA takes the position, we're not talking about any of this. We want to either have, all of our agenda items met and we've got nothing else to talk about. When that pendulum goes to the left next time and you've got a Democratic Congress, they're not going to be invited to the table. We aren't going to be represented at the table. What's going to happen is you're going to see legislation go through that reminds you of Obamacare. Just happens while we were sleeping. And you'll see a lot of rights go away. But I think it's going to be at the state level first. Okay, my reaction to people's reaction. I saw a number of people that are popular YouTube gun experts come out strongly against it. One guy said immediately, I'm pulling my support for the NRA. And going where with it, man? It's time for people to understand something here. Look at the NRA as your lifelong friend that maybe does some things to piss you off sometime, because nobody's perfect. But if it was not for the NRA, I'm going to tell you guys right now, listen, and this goes to everybody in the United States of America. Were it not for the NRA, your gun channel wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have ARs to shoot. There wouldn't be anything as a public type person having access to as many Glocks as you want to fire or review. You're not going to be out there with AKs, running them over with trucks and blowing them up with dynamite and seeing if they still work. None of that stuff would be here, guys. You'd be shooting your Red Ryder BB guns were it not for the NRA. If the worst thing that happens is we lose bumpfire stocks this go around and nothing else for 10 years, this should be considered major victories in a world that is continually, unfortunately, I believe, against the Second Amendment and its literal interpretation. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So I'm just going to basically suggest to anybody out there, if you are an NRA member, strongly think about what you're doing before you quit, before you pull your support. Think about who's been there for you and who will be there for you. If you want to take your support and put it behind something that doesn't have much going on at the grassroots level and has next to nothing going on at the congressional lobbying level, I guess go ahead. You're spiting yourself. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face, but you go right ahead and do it. This hardline, we ain't talking to nobody stuff might feel good to you. And if you're a YouTuber that's got 500,000 followers and all of that kind of stuff, I'm sure you can energize your voting audience and sell more t-shirts doing that, guys. But truth of the matter is, you turn your back on the NRA, I think what you're starting to do is turn your back on the Second Amendment, because they're the only ones that have been hammering away on keeping things intact for us, guys, really, in reality. So, food for thought. I respect opinions on all ends on these things. I'm not perfectly happy with how everything's going, but I will say this, and I'm going to say it again. if all we do is lose these stupid, useless bump fire stocks, and I mean stupid and useless, so what? I understand the fear that we're going to open the floodgates, but I don't think that's what's happening here, guys. Context, pretext, perspective. These are the things that are needed because without the NRA, like I said, we're shooting Red Ryder BB guns. Think about it. And get involved in the NRA if you don't like the way things are going. They need help at the local chapter level, the state chapter level, you name it. The NRA has done a lot to really piss off far-left gun grabbers. So there's a chance they might be doing something right still, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Dr. Drake 63, and hope I didn't lose too many viewers over this. Have a great day.